Welcome to our chilling haunted walking tour of St. Joseph, Missouri, where history meets the supernatural. Across the country, towns hide places steeped in ghostly lore and paranormal intrigue. In this video, we explore 4 of St. Joseph's most haunted spots. However, there's a twist. Only 3 of these locations are genuinely haunted. The 4th is a tale crafted by us here at Wandering Walks of Wonder. As you join us on this journey, your challenge is to figure out which 3 locations harbor real hauntings and which one is our creation. Stick around until the end of the video where we'll reveal which of St. Joseph's haunted locations is pure fiction. Today's journey takes us to 4 locations in St. Joseph: the Beattie Mansion, the Missouri Theater, the Buchanan County Courthouse, and the German-American Bank Building. So if you dare, let's explore the chilling tales behind St. Joseph's most haunted places. Our first stop in haunted St. Joseph, Missouri is the Beattie Mansion. This mansion is an epic place of paranormal activities. It exists in St. Joe and has been known locally as the House on the Hill. It was erected back in 1854 by Armstrong and Eliza Beattie as their family home, though it was destined to become much more. Armstrong would pass away from cholera in 1878, and Eliza would follow in death just 2 years later. Since this wealthy couple had no heirs, their house would take on a new purpose and become what was known as a home for the friendless. This meant it was used as a refuge for the city's homeless, aged, orphan, and later even those suffering from mental health and addiction. While so many have passed through the Beattie Mansion, there has been trauma there and even some death, which has created a perfect storm for hauntings. Here are some of the most famous ghost stories associated with the Beattie Mansion. First, we have the spirits of Armstrong and Eliza Beattie themselves. Although both Armstrong and Eliza Beattie are said to still linger in the mansion, Armstrong passed away, as we mentioned, in 1878 and Eliza in 1880. But visitors often report seeing apparitions of a man and a woman dressed in 19th century clothing roaming the halls. Some say they've seen the couple gazing out the mansion window as if watching over their home. It's said that Armstrong, who was the second mayor of St. Joseph, is particularly protective of his house, and his spirit is often felt in rooms where important decisions were likely made during his lifetime. One of the most terrifying aspects of the Beattie Mansion haunting is the appearance of shadow figures. These dark, human-like shapes are often seen out of the corner of the eye, darting quickly across rooms or down hallways. Unlike the apparitions of Armstrong and Eliza, these figures are much more mysterious and unsettling. Many believe that they are the spirits of former patients who lived in the mansion when it served as a mental care facility. People who have seen the shadows report a sudden chill in the air and a sense of overwhelming dread when they appear. And then we have the basement. The basement of the Beattie Mansion is particularly notorious for paranormal activity. Many refuse to go down there alone as the energy just feels oppressive and unnerving. Cold spots, the sensation of being watched, and unexplained shadows are common experiences some find in the basement. And many believe that the basement may have been used for more sinister purposes, either during the mansion's time as a private residence or later when it was a care facility. Investigators have recorded unusual electromagnetic readings, and many have reported physical sensations like being touched or even pushed while exploring the dark basement space. The Missouri Theater in St. Joe is not only known for its stunning architecture and rich history, but also for the ghostly tales that surround it. Built in 1927, this historic theater has hosted countless performances and events, but it has also developed a reputation for being haunted by lingering spirits from its past. Here are some of the most famous ghost stories associated with the Missouri Theater. First, we have that Phantom Usher. One of the most frequently reported hauntings involved the ghost of an usher who once worked at the theater in the early 20th century. Described as a polite, quiet man, he is said to take his duties very seriously, even after death. Theatergoers have reported seeing a figure in a vintage usher costume standing at the entrance to the aisles, helping to guide patrons to their seats. However, when they approach, the figure vanishes. Some employees have even mentioned feeling a cold hand gently touching their shoulder as if trying to direct them, only to turn around and find no one there. Many believe the theater is haunted by the spirit of a performer who died during a production in the 1930s. The story goes that during a dramatic scene, an accident occurred involving the rigging, and the performer fell to their death on stage. Since then, actors and stagehands have reported hearing strange noises coming from the stage when no one is around. Footsteps, faint singing, and even the sound of someone weeping in the wings. And some have even seen a shadowy figure standing in the middle of the stage, only to disappear when they approach and try to find out who it is. But a more unsettling ghostly presence in the theater is that of a child spirit, often heard sobbing during quiet moments in the building. Legend has it that during the Great Depression, a mother and her young child sought refuge in the theater. They were homeless and had nowhere else to go. Sadly, the child is said to have passed away in the theater under tragic circumstances. Visitors and staff to this day continue to hear the unmistakable sound of a child crying in the theater's corridors, especially near the balcony where the family is believed to have been hiding out. And finally, we have the dressing rooms beneath the stage that are said to be particularly haunted. Performers have recounted experiences of hearing soft whispers as if someone is speaking just behind them. The mirrors in the dressing rooms are often the site of eerie reflections, figures appearing in the glass that aren't there, and actors have claimed an overwhelming sense of dread when looking at the mirrors as if they're being watched by unseen eyes. The Buchanan County Courthouse is steeped in both historical and paranormal lore. Built in 1873, this grand building has witnessed over a century of legal proceedings, trials, and the emotional turmoil that comes from within them. With its rich past, the courthouse has also become a hot spot for ghost stories, with several lingering spirits said to haunt its halls. Here are some of the most famous ghost stories tied to the Buchanan County Courthouse. The first is that of the Hanged Man. One of the most famous ghost stories surrounding the courthouse involves a man who was hanged for a murder in the late 1800s. Legend has it that the convicted man, bitter and vowing revenge against the judge and jury, met his fate on the courthouse steps. Since his execution, people have reported seeing the figure of a man with a noose around his neck wandering the grounds of the courthouse. Witnesses have described hearing footsteps echoing in the empty hallways late at night, along with the distinct sound of a creaking rope swaying in the breeze, even when there is no wind. Courtrooms are often places of great sorrow and loss, and the Buchanan County Courthouse has had its own tragic ghost story. Several witnesses have reported seeing a woman dressed in late 19th century clothing wandering the courthouse halls, particularly near the courtrooms where criminal cases were heard. She is often seen crying softly with her face obscured by a veil. Legend has it that she is the spirit of a woman who lost her son during a high-profile murder trial. Heartbroken over the outcome of the trial, she died of grief not long after. Her spirit is said to be eternally searching for justice or mourning the loss of her loved one. And then we have the spirit of a judge's ghost. The courthouse is said to be haunted by the ghost of a former judge who passed away in the building. Known for being stern and unyielding in life, his spirit is believed to still preside over the courthouse, ensuring that order is maintained even from beyond the grave. Those who work late at night have reported hearing the sound of a gavel striking wood, followed by a voice whispering in the distance. Others have seen a shadowy figure in judges' robes walking through the courtroom or just sitting on the bench as if overseeing a trial that never ends. One of the more unsettling phenomena reported by courthouse staff involves the walls of the building themselves. Several people claim that when they are alone in certain parts of the courthouse, especially near the older courtrooms and stairwells, they hear faint whispers coming from the walls. The whispers are often unintelligible, but some have been hearing phrases like, "not guilty," or "it wasn't me." This eerie phenomenon has led some to believe that the walls of the courthouse have absorbed the energy and emotions of the many trials and judgments that have taken place there over the years. Our final stop on our haunted tour of St. Joseph, Missouri is the German American Bank Building. This is another historic site known for its ghostly legends. Built in 1904, this grand structure served as a financial institution for many years and has since become renowned not just for its architectural beauty, but also for its reputed paranormal activity. Here are some of the most compelling ghost stories associated with the German American Bank Building. Well, what would we have in a bank except a ghostly banker? One of the most prominent ghost stories involves the spirit of a former banker who worked in the building during its early years. Described as a stern but fair man, his presence is said to linger in the building's upper floors and offices. Witnesses have reported seeing a figure in early 20th century business attire walking through the hallways or standing by the large windows gazing out onto the streets of St. Joseph. Some have also heard the distinct sound of footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, followed by the soft clinking of coins, reminiscent of the bank's bustling past. The building's old vault, once used to store huge sums of money, has been the center of several eerie occurrences. Visitors and staff have reported hearing strange noises coming from the vault, such as the sound of tumblers turning or metal scraping against metal. The vault door has also been found open when it was thought to be securely locked. Some believe that the spirit of a former bank employee who may have died under mysterious or tragic circumstances is trying to communicate through the vault. And then we have the haunted boardroom at the top of the building. The old boardroom on the top floor is said to be particularly haunted. Former employees have reported feeling an unsettling presence in the room, often experiencing sudden temperature drops or the feeling of being watched. Some have even witnessed furniture moving on its own or heard the sound of an invisible group engaged in heated discussion. The ghostly activity in the boardroom may be related to important financial decisions or disputes that occurred during the bank's operational years. Now that we have seen 4 of the most chilling places in St. Joseph, Missouri, remember we had a challenge for you. Only 3 of these locations are genuinely haunted, while a 4th was crafted by us at Wandering Walks of Wonder. As you've watched and listened to these ghostly tales, can you guess which one of the 4 locations is not haunted? Remember, we saw the Beattie Mansion, the Missouri Theater, the Buchanan County Courthouse, and the German American Bank Building. We'll pause here for just a second while you think back on these ghostly tales and guess which one of these is made up by those of us here at Wandering Walks of Wonder. If you guessed the German American Bank Building, then you are correct. This tale was totally crafted by us here at Wandering Walks of Wonder. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder haunted tale, campus tour, city walk, or more. Take care now. Bye-bye.